Welcome back here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network from McKeon Park. Getting things quickly in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Sam Thorson is on the mound, currently facing Joey Weimer, the leadoff man for Harwich in Game 2, dealing with a 1-2 count. Thorson, the right-hander, making his second appearance for Hyannis as he kicks and delivers a 1-2 breaking ball that misses high. Last time we saw Thorson, or this is actually his third appearance, my apologies. He started in a game of 7 innings, pitch forms thus far on the season as a 2-2 is slapped down the right field line foul. He's given up 4 hits, 4 earned, walked 6, struck out 10. So Joey Weimer, who's at the plate right now, moving up a couple spots in the lineup and moving over a position in the outfield, now playing left for the Mariners in Game 2. Went 2 for 4 in Game 1, was also hit by a pitch. And Thorson fires in another curveball that misses well high, and the count runs full. If you're just joining in here on the broadcast on the Cape Cod Baseball Network, Brendan Howe, Lyle Goldstein with you, taking you through all the action up until the conclusion of this one. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Down goes Joey Weimer. Thorson blows it by him, and there's one gone now for the newly entered Christian Fedko.
And a good start from Thorson. Weimer coming off a good game in Game 1, but sets him down early here.
So Fedko, the second baseman today in Game 2. Did not see any action in Game 1. Now this kid can flat out play some baseball. Won ACC Player of the Year and Freshman All-American honors. As he takes a look at a strike at the knees, 0-1 from Thorson. And back in high school, tied the national high school record with 2 grand slams in 1 inning. So certainly has a lot of pop in that right-handed bat as he watches a breaking ball down and away to even the count. Rest of the lineup for Harwich tonight looks like this. Daniel Cabrera batting third and playing right. Nico Cavadas, Bobby Seymour, Mike Ludwig, Pat Winkle, Cam Thompson, and Jacob Hurtubise rounding out the 9. Thorson, the 1-1, fires in a fastball that just misses wide. 2 balls and a strike. Around the infield for Hyannis, it's Olson, Lofton, Servideo, and Carlson. So most of the same faces from Game 1 with the addition of Olson in the infield. And now time is called by Christian Fedko. Left to right in the outfield as well, Trevor Hauver, Bryce Teodosio, and Mitch McIntyre. So all 3 faces we saw in Game 1. McIntyre was a pinch hit entrant into the ball game. So 2-1 upcoming to Fedko. Here it is. Fastball, a called strike. Lasering one in at the bottom of the zone was Thorson. Count 2-2. Thorson stands 6'3", 210. So not as much as an imposing figure as Fredrickson, who started Game 1. As a 2-2 fastball trails to the backstop past the glove of the catcher McDaniel. So Christian Fedko adjusting the batting glove, stepping in and dealing with a full count against Thorson. Right-hander out of Minnesota. Likes a sign from McDaniel, the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Fedko goes chasing out of the zone, back-to-back strikeouts to start the outing for Thorson. So here is LSU's Daniel Cabrera. Had himself quite a Game 1. 3 for 4 with a home run in that ball game. Trying to keep the hot hitting going for Harwich. Thorson's first offering. Fastball, a check swing, and a missed low. 1 ball and no strikes. Nico Cavadas, the cleanup man, waiting on deck. Thorson out of the windup, fires a 1-0. Called strike, top of the zone. So the count evens at 1-1. Most of this crowd is stuck around for Game 2. Temperature dropping a couple of degrees as the evening progresses. The 1-1 from Thorson, breaking ball outside. So Cabrera batting from the left side, wiggling the bat above his left shoulder. Here comes a 2-1 from Thorson, a breaking ball. That's dropped into the belt, strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. So Thorson, if you remember back to that start that he made earlier on in the season, had great command of that curveball. He's a three-pitch guy, fastball, changeup, and of course the curveball that was just featured on the last 2-1, 2 pitches swung on and missed. McDaniel picks it out of the dirt, applies the tag to the back of Cabrera. How about Sam Thorson striking out the side in the top of the first? No score, bottom one coming up. Harbor Hawks to the plate when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to McKeon Park for action in the bottom of the first inning. It's the Cincinnati Southpaw Evan Shaver on the mound for Harwich. In game two, we'll be going up against a Harbor Hawk lineup that looks like this. Anthony Servideo leading off and playing second, following Nick Lofton, Trevor Hover in left, Brooks Carlson at first, Hunter Goodman, Mitch McIntyre, Chad McDaniel, Jackson Olson, and Bryce Teodosio rounding out the nine. So Anthony Servideo 1 for 2 in game one, stepping in to lead things off for Hyannis in the bottom of the first. Fastball right down the middle out of the hand of Shaver for strike one. So Shaver out of the windup, a lefty-lefty matchup, another fastball that misses high. Around the infield for Harwich here in game two, Cavadas at third, Thompson at short, Fetko at second, and Seymour at first. Shaver's 1-1 on the way, fastball down. 2 balls and a strike to the leadoff man, Servideo. Left to right in the outfield, it's Weimer, Hurtubise, and Cabrera. And behind the dish doing the catching for Shaver is Winkle. 2-1 to Servideo on the way. Another fastball in the air to center field, lined right at Hurtubise, coming in and making the catch for out number one.
That's a solid piece of contact from Servideo. We saw him hitting the ball pretty well in game one. Right there, he squares it up, just couldn't find any clean grass as Hurtubise came in pretty quick and made the play.
So here's Nick Lofton making his first plate appearance in game two. His fifth overall on the day, 2 for 4 thus far. Combined between the two. Big cut and a miss on a high fastball out of the hand of Shaver. Making his second appearance in a Mariner uniform in 2019. He's gone 3 2/3 thus far. He got the win in his first start. Struck out 6 in that outing as well. 0-1, another fastball that picks up the bottom of the zone, strike 2. So this is a Hyannis offense that's trying to get going. Put up 2 runs on 7 hits in game one. Lofton awaits the 0-2 fastball that misses wide. Hyannis bats haven't found much success. Although when you have to face one of the best in the country in Logan Allen in game one, that task doesn't always come easy. The 1-2 breaking ball that misses. Tried to pick up the top of the zone that time, did Schaber. Couldn't get Lofton to change his eye level and entice. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schaber out of the windup, kicks and deals, fouled straight back on a fastball from Lofton. So the count will hold it 2-2. We'll do it again. Nobody on, 1 out, bottom of the first from McKeon Park. Game 2 of a Sunday doubleheader. Schaber kicks and fires. Just trickled off to the left behind the home plate area. Trevor Hauver will be the ball boy and go retrieve it. Lofton hanging tough with 2 strikes against Schaber. The next offering, here it comes. Fastball back up the middle, past the diving glove, and off of it of Fedgo as it trickles onto the short center field grass, and Lofton's aboard. So 1 on and 1 out now for Trevor Hauver.
Yeah, and Lofton just continues to hit the ball well. I mean, you look back to game 1, he had 2 hits and a 2-for-4 day. He was also hitting the ball pretty hard. Of course, he had that 1 ball taken away by Chris Gallen down the line that could have been extra bases. But right there, he just shoots one back up the middle on the ground, and 3rd hit of the afternoon dating back to game 1.
So here's Hauver, 1 for 2, and reached on a fielder's choice in game 1, digging in for his first plate appearance. As the evening moves on, watches a fastball down and away. So Hauver's been one of the more consistent hitters in the Harbor Hawk lineup in terms of getting the bat on the ball. Doesn't strike out a lot as he sends the next pitch in the air to the left, moving under Cavadas, ranging back onto the short left field grass just by the chalk, and he makes the grab 2 down. So that'll bring up Brooks Carlson. Sanford product went 0 for 3. Moves up a spot in the lineup from the 5th slot in the order to now batting cleanup here in game 2. Schaber trying to make sure that Lofton single doesn't come back to bite him. First pitch to Carlson is in for a strike. Fastball low and away. Picking out his location quite nicely. Center fielder Hurtubise shaded slightly to the left. Playing Carlson to pull. Runner goes for second. Fastball inside, a called strike. Throw down, not in time. So Lofton is able to swipe second base. And Hyannis with a runner in scoring position and 2 down.
And Servideo just got a really good jump, head first slide to the backside of the bag, or Lofton that being. Lofton getting a really good jump, and he's got some speed on the base paths too.
So Carlson behind 0-2. Breaking ball finishes up high at about shoulder level. So Carlson, if he can find some green grass in the outfield, could give Hyannis an early lead. The 1-2 from Schaber. Fastball, broken bat, blooper into the air to shallow center. It's going to fall. Being waved around and coming home to score is Nick Lofton. An RBI single off the bat of Brooks Carlson, and Hyannis is on top 1-0.
Well, Carlson again, just finding some grass, broken bat out into short left center field, just kind of out into the Bermuda Triangle, but finds a way to pick up a base hit, and as a result, he drives in Lofton, and how about that? Hyannis up with a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first.
So that'll bring up the Memphis DH Hunter Goodman. Hasn't seen much action in the field, but getting a slot in the lineup again for game 2. First pitch from Schaber, big cut and a miss on a fastball. He was looking to send that one into a gap. Instead, came up empty, the count 0-1. So the Hyannis bats trying to get going early here. Putting up a run on 2 hits in the first frame as taking off for second on the pitch was Carlson, but it's fouled away by Goodman up and off to the right. So the count moves to 0-2 on Hunter. Going to have to try and protect with 2 down. Wind blowing out to right center field. American flag twisting in the wind back toward the scoreboard. A look over to first on Carlson. He's back standing. Southpaw comes set with the glove at the chest. Looks back toward Goodman in the box. And the 0-2. Swung on and blooped down the right field line, twisting off toward the Harwich bullpen. A few guys with a delayed reaction down there, probably not realizing that was headed for them. Count stays at 0-2 on Goodman. Middle infielders playing a bit back with a forced play at second with 2 down. The 0-2. Breaking ball just misses wide. Tough one to lay off from Goodman. Chad Gassman back coaching third base after being tossed in game 1. He's made his way back to the ballpark. Giving signs to his designated hitter batting out of the number 5 hole. Before a 1-2, another check back on Carlson. He's in. Chad Gassman, a very calm demeanor as he makes his return to the third base coaching box. Shaver a pause to 1-2 to Goodman on the way. Fastball is spoiled off again into the woods behind McKeon Park. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As we talked about a bit earlier on, Chad Gassman tossed in game 1, arguing balls and strikes, was not happy with home plate umpire Mike Chamberlain's strike zone. Gave him an earful back then in the first inning of game 1, chopped foul to the left. So Hyannis, coming into the second game of this doubleheader, still winless. Record of 0-8-1. Harwich picked up the win and improved to above 500, 6-5. Goodman awaiting the 1-2 from the southpaw. Here it is. Swung on a chopper towards short. Thompson coming in to get it. Throw across the diamond in time to get Goodman, and that retires the side. But Hyannis puts up 2 hits on the board. It results in a run. Nick Lofton came in to score it across the plate. So Sam Thorson back to the mound when we return for the top of inning number 2 with Harwich coming back up on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Top of the second from McKeon Park, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks find themselves playing with the lead here in game 2 of this Sunday doubleheader. Nico Cavadas, Bobby Seymour, and Mike Ledwig coming to the dish for Harwich. Sam Thorson back to the hill, second inning of work. First offering of the inning to Cavadas, a fastball that misses down and away, 1-0. Cavadas 2 for 2 in game 1, also drew a walk. Trying to see what he can do to jumpstart this Mariners offense in game 2 as they find themselves trailing. 2 balls and no strikes as Thorson missed with a fastball. Right-hander out of the windup to 2-0. Swing and a miss. Top hand came off the bat. Cavadas a bit frustrated with himself. Thorson, a mighty right-hander. Hails from Minnetonka, Minnesota. The 2-1. Popped up shallow center field. Teodosio ranging over slightly to his right, has it lined up, and he makes the grab, 1 down.
And just a piece of soft contact. Skies it out to center field. Teodosio, who we know can play some plus defense, Didn't have to work too hard for that one. Shifted over a little bit and easily put it away. But Thorson, saw him strike out the side in order in the first. Of course, he has the ability to miss bats, but pitching to contact right there.
So here's Bobby Seymour batting from the left side, set for his first cuts of the day. Facing Sam Thorson as he watches a fastball go by at the letters 1-0. So Seymour is leaving for Team USA, much like Logan Allen is. Starter in game 1 as a fastball appeal down to third, no go. It missed high. Seymour pulling the barrel of the bat back in time, 2-0 to count. Was voted ACC Player of the Year in 2019. So a dynamic player as he watches a 2-0 fastball again go by McDaniel to the backstop. He's got himself out in front of the count now, 3-0. Seymour's got himself a couple more days with the ball club. As a 3-0 is in for a strike at the knees. He's a bit of a shake of the head as he looks back toward the spot where McDaniel held the glove. Leaving on June 26th, he'll be departing for Team USA. We saw Logan Allen in game 1. Sits at about 97 with that fastball. He's got some great stuff. 3-1 is in for a strike, make it 3-2, a full count. So Harwich featuring a lot of special talents. This guy standing at the plate being one of them. Payoff from Thorson on the way. Misses high and he lost him. So a 1-out walk gives way to Mike Ludwig, and maybe Harwich has got something going for themselves. Hyannis struck for 1 in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and for Thorson, first base runner he's allowed today, and he gives it up the free pass to Bobby Seymour, but maybe pitching around him a little bit, or if not pitching around him, at least being careful. Of course, he's got the ability to just spray the ball at any time.
So here's Mike Ludwig, picked up a hit in game 1 as it trickles to the backstop. A fastball was spiked in front of the plate, advancing 90 feet as Seymour up to second base.
Yeah, and just maybe release that one a little too late as he put it in the dirt. But I think it's kind of like you were talking about, Brendan, because you were mentioning some of the accolades that Seymour had racked up this year. And for Thorson, who himself is coming off a really nice start his last time out, maybe he's got the mentality of just make somebody else beat you. Don't let it be the ACC Player of the Year, Bobby Seymour. Make it be somebody else.
Next pitch to Ludwig is swatted away foul off to the left as it trails toward the parking lot. That could be a mindset from Thorson on the mound. Don't let the most dynamic player perhaps in this lineup beat you. ACC Player of the Year. He's got a lot of tools and weapons to put you on your heels. So Thorson lost him on a walk, and he now stands 180 feet from tying the ball game. Fastball in at the knees for a strike. 1-2 now to the DH Ludwig. Was featured in right field in game 1. Getting a rest off of his feet. And will just make appearances at the plate here in game 2. 1-2 from Thorson. Breaking ball over the top of it, strike 3. Nice pitch from Thorson to tie up the hitter Ludwig. 2 down now for Pat Winkle.
That's already 4 strikeouts for Thorson. Good breaking ball there. Just dropped it into the top of the zone. So he's spun that breaking ball pretty well. And we've seen him paint the fastball both sides of the plate pretty consistently so far today.
So Winkle stands in from the left side. Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch of the at-bat fouled straight back. As it rolls all the way back to Thorson, who fields it on the ground. That brick wall almost playing as a pitch back to Thorson on that last swing. 0-1 the count now on Winkle. Newly entered backstop for the Mariners. Seymour, a modest lead at second base, not being held on by either middle infielder with 2 down. Thorson, couple looks back at him now in 0-1. Breaking ball, that's in there at the belt. Strike 2. Thorson snapping a good one off there, picking up the outside part of the plate. In good position to pick up his 5th strikeout already. Looking mighty strong as the right-hander from Minnesota. 0-2. Just misses inside. McDaniel tried to give him the frame. Couldn't pick up the call. Just missing by a hair on the inside corner as Winkle stayed alive. So the count moves to 1-2, and now Thorson still just one pitch away from working out of it here in the second. The next 1-2. Breaking ball skied in the air to center. Teodosio ranging in. And he's got it to end the inning. 4 strikeouts for Sam Thorson, and the Mariners strand 1. Still 1-0. Hyannis coming back to the plate with the lead, looking to extend upon it here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Bottom of the second from McKeon Park. 6, 7, and 8 coming to the plate for Hyannis. Mitch McIntyre, Chad McDaniel, and Jackson Olson against the southpaw Evan Schauber. Back for his second inning of work. Harbor Hawks were able to break through in the bottom of the first for just 1 run on the board, but playing with the lead and looking to get the bats going yet again as McIntyre watches a fastball inside 1-0. 1 for 1 in a pinch hit appearance just a game ago. 2-0. Another fastball misses down and away from Schauber. He's got a lively one. Trying to use it to his advantage. Left-hander ready, 2-0 pitch is sliced into left field. McIntyre dumps it in front of Weimer, and he's aboard to lead things off in the second for Hyannis. So Lyle, perhaps the bats starting to find their groove.
Yeah, and McIntyre himself, just some nice opposite field hitting. Sees one out over the plate. Just slices it the other way, like you said, Brendan, and hit it pretty hard, too. So these Harbor Hawk bats, they put up 1 in the first. And, of course, they had a tough task, like you talked about as well, game 1 facing Logan Allen. But now, no discredit to Evan Schauber, but probably not quite on the same level, so they have a chance to take advantage.
So now it's Chad McDaniel digging in for his first plate appearance of the day as he watches a strike at the knees. McIntyre aboard with nobody away. Hyannis trying to build upon a rare lead. Haven't gotten many of them to this point in the season. Snap throw back over to first as a courtesy dive from McIntyre. Harbor Hawks eyeing their first win of the season. Another check on McIntyre over at first, this time in standing. McIntyre has been kind of a jack of all trades for Hyannis. We mentioned 2 scoreless appearances on the mound thus far, and picking up a couple of hits today with the bat is a wave and a miss from McDaniel on a fastball outside, 0-2. Another snap throw back to first. In where the dive again is McIntyre sneaking the hand just to the back corner of the bag. McDaniel looking for his third hit of the summer as the fastball tails way off the plate, 1-2. On deck. A long pause. McDaniel ready for a 2-2. Wave and a miss through a fastball. Down he goes. So Shaver showing that big fastball to McDaniel again about knee high. He fans through it, and here comes Jackson Olsen with one down. So Olsen, we're used to seeing him at shortstop, sliding over to third as a new entry for Chad Gassman's lineup in game 2. McIntyre back in standing on a pickoff attempt. Olsen's another guy out of Hartford trying to pick it up with the bat here on Cape Cod this summer. First pitch to him, skied in the air on the infield to shallow center. Drifting after a Thompson, Fedko, as well as Hurtabisi, and it will be Thompson to make the grab. Went a long way to reel that one in, and now it's Bryce Teodosio.
He does a nice job on it. Never takes his eyes off the ball, just back into his left a bit, calling everybody off. And now for Evan Shaver, he gave up the leadoff hit to Mitch McIntyre, but since then, did a nice job striking out McDaniel, just blew that fastball by him and then induces a soft pop out to the hitter Olsen.
So Teodosio looking for his first hit of the day. Went 0 for 3 back in game 1, playing center field in both contests. Shaver set. First pitch to the at-bat, breaking ball. Teodosio offered at it. Went fishing into the dirt. No balls and a strike on the Clemson product. Runner at first base, that's Mitch McIntyre. Started off this frame with a single. And since it's been a strikeout and a pop-up, as back in with a dive on a pickoff attempt again is the BYU right fielder. Slowing down his pace a bit is Shaver, and the 0-1 coming to Teodosio. Runner goes for second, throw down. Is going to take a hop and skip into center field. Getting up and thinking about advancing, but staying put is McIntyre, as backed up on the play was Hurtabisi in center field, who came creeping in. So McIntyre is up 90 feet to second, and in scoring position now with 2 down.
And Hyannis is being aggressive so far in this game. Already 2 stolen bases, 1 from Lofton, now 1 from McIntyre. But really just trying to force some runners into scoring position and get some more RBI opportunities for men at the plate. And Bryce, a guy who we know has some power in his arsenal, now presented with a chance here.
He's working with an 0-1 count against the lefty Shaver. Here's the pitch. Fastball, that is through into left center, a base hit. Coming around to score is Mitch McIntyre. The throw is going to be cut off by Cavadas, and it's 2-0 Hyannis, an RBI single for Bryce Teodosio.
Yeah, and he really needed that. That was well squared up, just punched it into left center, more towards straightaway center. Past the glove, however, of the shortstop Thompson. And Bryce's second hit of the summer, but comes up with it in a pretty nice way, extending a Harbor Hawk lead to 2-0 and helping out an offense that so far, Brendan, is really looking pretty sharp in game 2.
They've racked up 4 hits already. This is Anthony Servideo. As now Teodosio is going to be directed towards second base. Perhaps a balk. So Teodosio will take the free 90 feet, and he's in scoring position now with 2 down as well. Servideo, who went 1 for 2 in game 1, would love to pick up an RBI as well on this day. Fastball's in for a strike, painting the outside black. So the Cincinnati product trying to limit any more Hyannis damage with 2 down in the inning. 0-1 coming to Servideo. Breaking ball outside. So the count levels at 1-1. Teodosio, who stands at second base now, came into today 1 for his first 15, and after game 1 was 1 for his first 18. And as Lyle, as you mentioned, really needed that to get going. teammate Servideo trying to bring him around. 1-1 is fouled back. So this Hyannis offense really needing a breakthrough game, and this could be it. Putting up one run in each of the first 2 frames. They hadn't scored a run in a calendar week coming into today. It was 19 straight innings. And then through a couple in game 1 reached 21. Breaking ball missed up and away to even the count 2-2 to Anthony Servideo. Jobber looking for a sign from Winkle. A long stare. Finally gets one, and Teodosio gathered a couple steps on his lead at second base. The 2-2. Breaking ball runs the count full. So the lefty struggling with location a little bit to Servideo. He's been a tough matchup for a couple lefties in this ball game. Drew a couple of walks in his first 2 plate appearances in game 1. The payoff pitch. Fastball swing and a miss. He got him. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Shaver, and he escapes any more damage courtesy of the Harbor Hawks, but they strike for 1. An RBI single from Bryce Teodosio, who finally gets the bat going, and some more insurance for Sam Thorson when he returns to the mound in the top of the 3rd when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Bringing you back into McKeon Park for action in the top of the 3rd. The Harwich Mariners back to the plate against right-hander Sam Thorson. Working with a bit of a cushion, a 2-0 lead the Harbor Hawks bats were able to get for him. 2 runs on 4 hits thus far through 2 frames. Harwich still looking to get one on the board here in game 2. They racked up 12 earlier on in game 1, and it's 8, 9, and 1. Cam Thompson, Jacob Hurtubise, and Joey Weimer. Fastball that misses on the inside part of the plate on the first pitch from Thorson of the inning. It's been very strong, racking up 4 Ks through his first 2 frames. That one runs down and in, forcing Thompson to skip out of the way, 2-0. It's been a bit of a steady breeze out to right center all afternoon. American flag high atop the flagpole, waving in the wind. 2-0 pitch, cut and a miss. Fastball placed on the outside part. 2 balls and a strike to the shortstop, Thompson. 2-1 on the ground towards second. Servideo fields it on a hop. Gather and fire over to Carlson at first in time. 1 away now for Jacob Hurtubise. Batting out of the number 9 spot, playing center field for the Mariners. Much like the rest of his teammates in Mariner uniforms, sporting those stirrup socks the old-fashioned way. First pitch from Thorson as Hurtubise squared to bunt, and it got him on the foot. Thorson pleading his case that it never touched him. But down at first base is Hurtubise, already taken off those batting gloves. So it's going to be a runner aboard for Harwich with 1 down, back to the top of the order for Weimer, who's 0 for 1. So Hyannis issued 1 hit by pitch earlier on in the day. That came back in game 1. Also handed out a fair share of walks as well. So runner aboard, Thorson out of the stretch with 1 down. Here's Weimer waving the bat above his shoulder, takes a strike on the inside half. Weimer struck out in his first plate appearance. An inning that saw Thorson strike out the side in a very impressive debut here in game 2. 0-1. Runner goes for second. Pitch was low and outside. Throw down. It's going to take a couple of hops. Servideo applies the tag, but not in time. So a tough play for McDaniel as that curveball missed down and away. Missouri catcher had to move to his right and then fire from his knees. Really not much of a chance to get the speedy Hurtubise, who now stands at second base. So Thorson will regroup. 1-1 count here to Weimer. And the offering. Fastball high, make it 2-1. Thorson coming into today in his 2 appearances thus far and racked up 10 strikeouts. Stands at 14 now. Long stare out at Hurtubise. Couple of looks at him now. And a balk. And a cheer from the Harwich dugout as Hurtubise trots his way down to third base. So 1 balk per side now. One was issued to Shaver in the bottom half of the second inning that advanced Bryce Teodosio to second base. Now a runner 90 feet from cutting this lead in half. A ground ball towards Servideo at second. Will field and fire to first in time, but the run comes in. So an RBI ground up for Joey Weimer, and it puts the Harwich Mariners on the board in game 2. That'll bring up Christian Fedko, the second baseman, for his second plate appearance. Again, was also a strikeout victim as part of the 3 in the first inning from Thorson. First pitch to him, a fastball launched down the left field line in foul territory. Racing after it, Olsen. Coming in now is Hover, but it will fall a couple inches to the left of the chalk. So Olsen and Lofton gave it a good look. They each ran a long way into left field, but none of the 3 Harbor Hawk defenders could make the play. So 0-1 as Fetko slowly makes his way back to the batter's box. Thorson shakes off a couple signs, working from the windup now with nobody on and 2 down. 0-1. That misses high at the letters, and the count evens. So Harwich has fought back to cut this Hyannis lead in half. Currently standing at 2-1 in the top of the third from McKeon Park. The 1-1. Fastball cut and a miss. Up and away. Thorson reared back and fired. So a ball and 2 strikes on Fedko. Thorson patiently waiting on the rubber, waiting for Fedko to return to his stance. Now he does. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Thorson again rearing back and firing and racking up another strikeout. Make that 5 for him on the evening so far. Harwich strikes for 1. 2-1 with Hyannis coming back to the plate in the bottom of the third on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to McKeon Park for action in the bottom of the third. Nick Lofton, Trevor Hoffer, and Brooks Carlson do up 2, 3, and 4 in the Hyannis order. Hyannis bats have gotten mini rallies in each of the first 2 times they've come to the plate. They put 1 across in each of the 2 innings. 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 run on no hits for Harwich. On the flip side, here's Lofton. Swings at the first pitch and bloops it on the infield. Coming in and not making the play as Thompson scoops it up and can't make the throw. So Lofton finds a way aboard, and here's Trevor Hoffer. Kind of a jam shot on the infield. Thompson came charging in. He was playing back on the outfield grass. By the time he reached the ball, which had plopped in front of the second base bag, the speed of Lofton awarded him a base hit. First pitch to Hoffer in a lefty-lefty matchup. Fastball brushes him back 1-0. Trevor 0 for 1 so far, popped out to third base back in the first inning. Hoffer kicking a courtesy toss back to first, checking on Lofton. Just trying to keep him close over there. So Hoffer back to the box, ready for a 1-0 from Hoffer. Couple of checks and now another balk. Our time is called as Hoffer takes a step out. So Lofton a short lead over at first, a 1-0 count on Trevor. And now the pitch runs wide. Count moves to 2-0 now. Brooks Carlson awaits on deck. Hunter Goodman will follow him if we get there. Double play is in order. Thompson and Fedko shaded a bit toward the second base bag. Third baseman Cavadas a bit behind the bat. 2-0 is sent deep to center. Racing back, Hurtubise on his horse toward the wall. It's going to be over his head. Skipping up against the wall and rounding third and coming in to score is Lofton. Throw to the plate is going to be in time, but wide. Lost sliding in safely for a 3-1 Hyannis lead is Nick Lofton. An RBI double from Trevor Hoffer. So the Hyannis bats continuing to strike. This time it's the Arizona State Sun Devil doing the trick. So the Harbor Hawks continuing the trend of putting up a run in each of the first 3 frames they've been at the plate, and perhaps still more to come with a runner in scoring position and nobody away for Brooks Carlson. Brooks already 1 for 1 on the evening. Single that came back in the first inning, but Hyannis couldn't do anything with that. Pitch, a breaking ball, not enough snap to it. It sat high. So the count 1-0. Some signs of life from this Hyannis offense. Could be encouraging for things to come. The 1-0 from Hoffer, foul tipped straight back. The ball and a strike to the Sanford slugger. Things have quieted down at the ballpark a bit. Audience has thinned out as the evening has progressed. Hoffer a pause, set the 1-1. Fastball misses wide. Carlson showing some nice patience, watching that one finish outside, 2-1. Just the third inning, Hyannis has piled up 6 hits for themselves. The 2-1. Fastball in the air down the right field line, racing toward a Cabrera, toward the wall, and it's going to one-hop the wall. On his way to third, Trevor Hoffer. Gassman's going to put the brakes on him there, cruising into second base, Brooks Carlson. And 3 straight hits to begin the third for Hyannis. That'll bring up Hunter Goodman. So Hunter 0 for 1, but they say hitting's contagious. 3 straight to start the inning for Hyannis. And now a meeting on the mound with Hoffer. Giving up some hard contact to these Hyannis bats here in the third. Harwich struck for one in the top of the frame. Hyannis answering right back with one of their own and threatening for a bit more. So it'll be Trevor Hopper at third and Brooks Carlson at second base when we resume play. Home plate umpire Jeff Merzell on his way out to the mound to break up the conference. So perhaps just some encouragement words for Shaver on the mound, giving up a bit of contact from these Hyannis bats who have been looking for this breakthrough for quite some time now. So Goodman kicking some dirt off those Memphis blue cleats. He'll step into the box. First pitch to him on the way. Fastball sliced foul down the right field line. He was looking for that first pitch fastball. He got it. It was just a bit low and fouled it away. So Mitch McIntyre awaiting on deck, hoping for a chance with nobody down. Incredibly likely that he will get a chance. 0-1, cut and a miss, fastball up high. So the southpaw Evan Shaver from Cincinnati slowing his pace down considerably with runners aboard. The 0-2. Fastball watched by Goodman at just above the top of the zone, 1-2 the count. 2 in scoring position for Hyannis with nobody away. Potential for a huge inning. Hunter Goodman trying to do the job and add some insult to injury for these Mariners. 1-2. Fastball in the air to center. Moving after it is Hurtabisi. Calls it, drifts under, and makes the catch. Runner's going to tag and score. That's Trevor Hopper coming in to cross the plate. So a sac fly for Hunter Goodman stretches the lead to 4-1 Hyannis. So making his way to the dish, Mitch McIntyre now. He's got an RBI opportunity presented in front of him right now with Brooks Carlson 90 feet away. 4 runs on 7 hits. Harbor Hawks have gotten to Evan Shaver early on in this one. Lefty-lefty matchup, first pitch. Outside for a ball. So Mitch has already made some good contact in the ball game today. He's picked up 2 hits and 2 plate appearances combined between the 2 contests. 1-0. Squaring to bunt, pulling back on a high fastball. Brooks Carlson retreating back to the bag at third. Coach Chad Gaspin coaching up the Sanford base runner. Count stands at 1-1 to number 17, Mitch McIntyre at the dish. Infield has crept in onto the lip of the grass. Playing to eliminate Brooks Carlson. Fastball misses down and away, 2-1. So Harwich not playing around, already down 4-1 early on. Still just 1 out, trying to escape some more trouble. Hyannis posed a big threat with the bats. And now Shaver will take a quick step off the back of the mound. Southpaw's ready, kicks and deals a 2-1. McIntyre squares to bunt, drops one down in front of the plate. Out to get it as Winkle fires to first in time, but the run comes in. Brooks Carlson charging to cross the plate, 5-1 Hyannis. So the sacrifice works to perfection as McIntyre doing the job, laying an egg in front of the plate, and it's now a 4-run Harbor Hawk lead. So here's Chad McDaniel with 2 down. So score that one 2-3 on the putout. Now McDaniel trying to avenge the strikeout that came back in the second inning. Shaver working with an 0-1 count to McDaniel, fires in a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count will draw even. Shaver quickly fires in a 1-1 fastball that paints the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 down. Jackson Olsen patiently awaiting, bat resting on his left shoulder in the on-deck area, hoping for a chance. 1-2 to McDaniel. Fastball high, 2-2. Now Jackson's starting to loosen up over there, hoping for a chance in this inning that has seen Hyannis plate 3 runs. Currently on top 5-1. The 2-2. Breaking ball in the dirt, runs the count full. It was just over a week ago that saw Hyannis have a 5-1 lead against Falmouth. As a payoff pitch on the way to McDaniel, runs high, and it's a walk. So McDaniel heads down to first, and Jackson Olsen will stride to the plate. It was just over a week ago in Falmouth, where Hyannis held an early 5-1 lead in a contest at Gov Fuller Field. They ended up tying that one by a score of 9-9. As Winkle calls time and will head out to the mound, and that perhaps might be the day for Shaver. Harwich manager also making his way to the bump. The entire infield joining him. And the new pitcher comes trotting in from the Harwich bullpen with 2 down, and Shaver will be relieved of his duties with a runner aboard. So Shaver will exit. Hyannis on top 5-1. Pitching change from McKeon Park when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back from McKeon Park off the pitching change. New arm, it's a southpaw from the Bronx, New York, Blake Espinal. Making his second appearance on the summer with Harwich. He's gone 2 1/3 so far. He's given up 2 earned, struck out 4 and walked 1. A 7.71 ERA facing Jackson Olsen, a lefty-lefty matchup with Chad McDaniel aboard at first and 2 down. First pitch of his outing is a fastball down and away, 1-0. So getting back to the last time Hyannis held a 5-1 lead, it was at Gulf Fuller Field in Falmouth just over a week ago. Hyannis wound up tying that one 9-9. 1-0 pitch to Olsen. Picks up the outside corner. Runner goes. The throw is way off to the left, and sliding in is Chad McDaniel at second base. So another runner in scoring position here for Hyannis. But that 9-9 tie is the reason why Hyannis is on the board in the standings with just 1 point. They held 2 5-run advantages in that game. 1-1. Fastball check swing down the left field line, foul. Just drifting past Chad Gassman as now he'll go trot down the left field line to retrieve it. Only to be cut off by Cavadas, the third baseman. So Olsen staring down a 1-2 count from the left-hander Espinal. Chad McDaniel slowly gaining a lead out at second base. Thompson aligned right behind him, now shading toward the bag, the 1-2. Fastball outside. So an offensive breakthrough for the Harbor Hawks here. 5 runs on 7 hits. Matching their total from game 1 of the doubleheader today. Espinal set at 2-2. Just missing down with a fastball. And the count swells full. Bryce Teodosio responsible for the second run of the game for Hyannis, awaits on deck. Some damage coming with 2 outs here in the inning. Payoff pitch to Olsen, swung on and missed strike 3. So Espinal comes out of the bullpen and gets the job done, striking out Olsen to end the frame, but 3 come across to score after 3 hits to lead off the inning. 5-1, Hyannis stretches the lead out. Thorson with more of a cushion to sit on when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Sam Thorson back to the mound with a 4-run cushion to sit on. 5-1. Hyannis plated 3 in the bottom half of the third. And gave the right-hander from Minnesota some more run support, facing Daniel Cabrera, Nico Cavadas, and Bobby Seymour in the top of the 4th from McKeon Park. Glad to have you on hand for game 2 of this doubleheader. First pitch to Cabrera. Breaking ball in the dirt, knocked down by McDaniel, 1-0. Well, Al, we had talked about the lack of offense for quite some time, and finally Hyannis breaking through here in game 2. And already 5 runs as we enter the 4th inning.
Yeah, and they really put up a nice 3 spot on the board in the bottom of the third, like we talked about, getting off to a good start too.
Fastball misses high, make it 2-0.
If you dig back to the 3rd inning, you talked about it, Brendan, not just the 3 hits to start off the inning, because obviously that was the table setter, but the fact that they were able to execute too.
Thorson ready for a 2-0. Fastball fouled straight back.
But you look at the inning, I mean, you had the Hunter Goodman sac fly. You had the Mitch McIntyre sac bunt for an RBI. So, of course, clutch hitting and using the long ball to your strength always helps any ball club. But when you're able to execute and just simply bring in runners to manufacture runs, that is huge.
2-1 pitch is skied foul up and over the press box. And the count draws even now to the leadoff man in the inning, Cabrera.
So, yeah, just a really good trend-setting job by the top of the Hyannis lineup, but then the execution to bring them around and just put some runs on the board.
2-2 from Thorson. Fastball just misses off the outer edge of the plate, and the count runs full. So Cabrera picked up 3 hits in game 1. Strikeout victim earlier on in the second game of the double dip. Payoff pitch, breaking ball high, ball 4. So Cabrera heads down to first with a leadoff walk in the 4th. That'll bring up Nico Cavadas.
Well, just didn't quite get enough twist on that breaking ball right there, but Thorson still having himself quite a fine day. Still has an issue to hit.
Thorson, combined between his 2 outings, had given up 6 free passes. He's got 2 in this outing so far today, so he's up to 8 on the summer. First pitch fastball misses wide to Kavadas, 1-0. The first free pass came to the man standing in the on-deck circle, Bobby Seymour. As we mentioned, the ACC Player of the Year. There's certainly a dynamic power bat in the middle of this Harwich order. 1-0 pitch. Fastball just missing off the outside part. Thorson retreating back to the rubber. Gave a quick shake of the head. 2 balls and no strikes to Kavadas. Moving across the diamond defensively, moving from first base to the hot corner. 2-0. Fastball down, 3-0. Kavadas firmly in the driver's seat in this at-bat. So Thorson in danger of surrendering back-to-back walks to begin things here in the 4th. The 3-0. Get me over fastball in for a strike right down Main Street. Count moves to 3-1. Still a good hitter's count for Kavadas. The right-hander's 3-1. Swung on and sent in the air to right center. Drifting in Teodosio as well as McIntyre. It will be Teodosio to make the play. And the runner Cabrera retreats back to the bag.
And that's Teodosio just taking charge again. And not only does he cover a lot of ground out there, which of course makes him the outfielder that he is, but he's also just a vocal leader out there. He's always making sure to communicate. You heard the right fielder McIntyre saying, take it, and they just give way to him because Brycey, I mean, first off, that's just necessary for any outfielders to have quality communication and always be talking to make sure they know who's set up to grab the ball. But for Bryce, he had to come a long way and, of course, a towering pop-up on that one. But he was loud and vocal to the rest of his outfielders to make sure to have everybody get out of the way to avoid any collision or the possibility of a drop baseball. But for Thorson, now with a meeting out on the mound between the pitching coach Ray Korn and the rest of the infield, he gave up that leadoff walk and he got himself into a 3-ball count, but he found a way to get out of it. That high fly ball from Nico Kavadas put the first out of the inning on the board. And for Thorson, he's really just cruising against this Harwich lineup, which is something the Harbor Hawk pitching staff needed. I mean, he's kept him at bay. Hasn't given up a whole lot of hard contact. Just a couple of walks or free passes like we talked about. And now as the meeting concludes, he's going to go through a tough part of the order and going to face a quality bat in Bobby Seymour. But for Thorson, just a really strong outing so far through 3 1/3.
Looking to avoid the big bat of Seymour, batting out of the 5 spot with a runner on and 1 out. First pitch misses down. 1 ball and no strikes. Connor Ash loosening up down the left field line in the Hyannis pad. You just saw pitching coach Ray Korn make his way out to the mound, perhaps to give Ash some time, knowing that this big bat of Seymour is next up in the order. 1-0. Fastball painting the outside black for a strike, and the count draws even at 1-1. So Seymour was able to draw a walk in his first plate appearance in the second. Thorson working around the power hitter. 1-1. Fastball, that's in there, strike 2. That one caught a lot of the plate. But Seymour, a stone cold take watching it go by. So Thorson, 1 strike away from retiring him. It would be a huge out if he can get Seymour. Double play is in order with 1 down. 1-2. Fastball just misses down and away. Tried to paint the black. Just missing his spot as he rubs out the baseball behind the rubber. Cabrera slowly shuffling his feet, a short lead off of first. Thorson set the 2-2. On the ground toward first, backhanded under the glove of Carlson as it trickles into right field. Going first to third is Cabrera. He'll stop there. Now caught in between second and third. He slipped on the base paths, and now they got him caught in a rundown. He'll be tagged out in between second and third, but advancing up to the bag at second is Seymour. So Seymour advancing up to second base. Cabrera was tagged out on his way to third. He slipped, rounding the bag at second. So Seymour in scoring position for Mike Ludwig. That'll be ruled an error on Carlson at first. So a wild sequence now, but 2 down is the more important thing. And Thorson back on the rubber facing Ludwig for the second time. Runner in scoring position. Big cut and miss on a high fastball.
Just kind of a crazy play. Carlson just couldn't quite make the backhanded stop, and it skipped over his glove. But as a result, Servideo picked up the ball in short right field. And fortunately for the Harbor Hawks, they catch a break with Cabrera slipping between second and third, so they had the ability to tag him out.
A 1 from Thorson, squaring to bunt as Ludwig drops down a beauty down the third baseline. Thorson off the mound to get it. Throw is going to be late. Advancing up to third was Seymour on the bunt attempt. Ludwig beating it out with some speed down the line, and that'll bring up Pat Winkle.
Well, just a really nice bunt single there from Ludwig. Third baseman Jackson Olsen playing back with 2 outs. He read it well, and dropped it right down that third baseline. Thorson, like you said, picked it up cleanly, made a strong throw, but just couldn't quite beat the runner, Ludwig.
So the first base hit of the evening on the board for Harwich here in game 2. They have a runner 90 feet away and Pat Winkle at the dish. And a deep fly out to Bryce Teodosio his first time up. So the right-hander from Minnesota trying to keep these Mariners off the boards in the fourth. Trying to keep this 4-run lead intact. First pitch of the at-bat, a strike on the outside corner. Pumped in a fastball. Thorson, dating back to his last start in Falmouth, had that fastball working. He's got that again tonight. A pause, now the 0-1 to Winkle. Another fastball on the ground towards short. Picked up by Lofton. He'll take it to the bag himself to second, and that retires the side. So Harwich strands 2. Mike Ludwig reached on a single, but not to be, as they strand 2 on the corners. 5-1, Hyannis out in front, a 4-run advantage, and we come back to the bottom of the fourth from McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Harbor Hawks send their 9-1-2 up to the plate in the bottom of the fourth against the left-hander Blake Espinal. Back out for inning number 2 for the Harwich Mariners. But the Road Ball Club trails 5-1 here as the Harbor Hawks currently sitting with a 4-run cushion. Teodosio waves the bat above his shoulder, takes the first pitch inside on a fastball from Espinal, and it's 1-0. So Bryce picked up his second hit of the summer just 2 innings ago, an RBI single. to bring in Mitch McIntyre. 1-0. A wave and a tap back to the glove of the catcher, Winkle. It was also Bryce's first RBI of the summer. And that put the Harbor Hawks out to a 2-0 lead back in the bottom of the second. The offering down low, and it's 2-1. Teodosio, who just finished up his sophomore year at Clemson, has been a stalwart in the outfield. Covers a ton of ground and also a vocal leader out in center field. Now the 2-1. Swing and a high pop-up, towering into shallow center field. In comes Hurtubise. Calls everybody off and makes the grab, moving just a bit to his right. So Teodosio put away to begin the bottom of the fourth on a high pop-up to center. And now to flip the lineup over for Anthony Servideo. So Servideo looking for his first hit in game 2 here. He reached base 3 times on a 1-for-2 day with 2 walks and a run scored in game 1. Espinal works directly out of the stretch. The lefty kicks and deals, while the left-handed hitting Servideo watches it up high. So Espinal came in to relieve Evan Shaver back in the bottom of the 3rd inning to get the final out. And the offering to Servideo, that's called a strike right at the bottom of the zone. Shaver's final line, he went 2 2/3 innings, 7 hits, left the game leaving runners aboard, but they didn't come around to score, so he finishes with 5 runs, all earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Pitch to Servideo, fastball clips him on the shoulder, and he'll take first base. So Servideo reaches base for the first time in game 2. That's his 3rd free pass of the day, dating back to game 1, and the Harbor Hawks have 1 out and 1 aboard.
Servidio's been an on-base machine today, as you mentioned, the couple walks and this time a hit by pitch. Although that was not by any fault of his own.
So he's aboard at first. Hands some of his protective gear to Travis Poole, the Harbor Hawks' first base coach. Now it brings up Nick Lofton. What a day he's had. 2 for 2 so far, 2 runs scored. And it'll be his first time seeing the lefty Espinal. Out of the stretch, looks at the runner, fires home. Called strike on a heater. Lofton had 2 hits in game 1 as well. Both singles. Also had a pair of flyouts, one pretty deep down the left field line. It was tracked down by Chris Gallen, the Harwich left fielder. And that prevented Lofton of what would have likely been a double. Blake Espinal throws over, but Servidio's back standing up. He didn't have much of a lead. 7 hits so far for Hyannis today, 5 runs. And the big inning came just a frame ago in the bottom of the 3rd. Servideo takes off in the offering, spiked in the dirt. He's going to get to second, no problem. He's thinking about 3rd, and he's going to try and take it. No throw from the catcher, Winkle, and how about Anthony Servideo? Moves up 2 bases in just 1 pitch. Took off on the first move from the lefty Espinal. A wild pitch. Would have got to second anyway. But the sailed ball from the lefty allowed him to advance to 3rd, and just like that, he's 90 feet away from scoring.
Well, you talked about earlier the 23 stolen bases he had, which was 2nd in the SEC. And that time right there, showing off the wheels, taking 2 bags on 1 pass ball that trickled past Winkle.
So now Lofton's got a chance to drive one in. He skies one out to deep left. Back goes Weimer. He's at the wall. It's gone! First home run of the summer, Nick Lofton. A 2-run blast to make it 7-1 Hyannis in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, this is exactly what we're talking about. That ball was smoked to deep left that time by Lofton. He got a hold of that one. And it's been a while since the Harbor Hawks have had a home run. Hunter Goodman had a couple. Now Lofton launching his first. And we talked about the hits would come for Hyannis. It was just a matter of when. And right now, looks like we found our answer.
So Lofton scorches one down the left field line. It sent Weimer back to the track. Couldn't do much but look up, and it just sneaks inside the pole. Trevor Hoover takes the first pitch up above the letters. It's 1-0. For Hyannis, That's their 5th home run of the summer. Now the lefty deals to the lefty Hauver, who takes one down. It's 2-0. They came in today ranked 5th in the league with those 4 home runs. 2 have come off the bat of Hunter Goodman. 1 from Rigsby Mosley. 1 from Adam Hackenberg. And now a 2-run blast from Lofton. 2-0 to Hauver. Swing and a high pop-up. Fairly shallow right field. Coasting in. The right fielder Cabrera settles under it and squeezes it for the 2nd out of the inning. So Trevor Hauver just gets a bit under that one. Skying it way up into the air. Didn't send Cabrera too far. Just maybe a step or 2 to his right. But now there's 2 down for Brooks Carlson. And Brooks has had himself quite the day too. He's 2 for 2 so far. Halfway to the cycle, but the much easier half. Single and a double, that coming in the 3rd. First pitch is a fastball up high. And maybe this is a sign, Brendan. Maybe this is finally some of these Harbor Hawk bats finally starting to find some life and put together some very, very quality offensive innings. The 1-1, a swing and a miss.
I would say so. I mean, 7 runs on 8 hits is certainly nothing to sneeze at by any means, and this is the breakthrough that Hyannis has been looking for. And they've squared up a couple balls off the starter Shaver and now Espinal. A home run from Lofton.
Brooks sends one on the ground to second, fielded by Fedko moving to his right, throws to first, and it's in time. So Carlson sent down to end the bottom of the 4th. But the big shot off the bat of Nick Lofton, a 2-run blast in the bottom of the 4th to make it 7-1 Hyannis, where we currently stand. We'll go to the 5th when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Top of the 5th at McKeon Park, and the Harbor Hawks sitting at their biggest lead so far of the season. A 6-run advantage over the road visiting Harwich Mariners as Sam Thorison's back on the mound for inning number 5. The righty winds and fires out of the windup. It's a fastball that runs wide to the number 8 hitter, Cameron Thompson. Thompson, one of 7 lefties in the lineup. As Thorson gets the sign from Chad McDaniel, fires home, and it's fouled back and out of play. Joey Weimer Jr. and Christian Fedko sit at the top of the lineup. Those are the 2 right-handed bats. After that, it's 7 straight lefties for the Mariner lineup. But Thorson cruising here through 4+. Just 1 hit and 1 run allowed as he fires the next pitch. It's skied out to left field the opposite way. Hauver moves back and just a step to his left, and he makes the grab for the first out. So Thorson records a fly out to lead off the inning, and he continues to keep these Harwich runners off the bases. He's got 5 strikeouts today, although didn't record one in the 4th, so all of them coming through the first 3 frames. Now it's Jacob Hurtubise, Harwich center fielder today, as Thorson fires a fastball. It's fouled straight back. That hit off the whiteboard that Hyannis uses to handwrite all their lineups each night and set it right against the brick wall behind home plate. But Thorson, who gazes over the glove, shakes his head twice, now a third time, finally nods and fires home. Shows bunt, but pulls back. That's Hurtubise. The ball misses outside, and it's 1-1. So Hyannis has scored a run in every single inning in game 2. The 1-1 from Thorson, fouled off the foot of Hurtubise inside the box, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. But 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third. That was their big spot. And then Nick Lofton, who blasted a 2-run shot down the left field line just a frame ago in the bottom of the 4th. Thorson ready. The 1-2. Breaking ball just upstairs, and the count levels out. But Thorson comes off a strong start his last time around. 6 innings, 2 earned runs on 3 hits against the Brewster Whitecaps here at McKeon Park. 2-2. Swing and a high pop-up out of play left side. So this is Thorson's 3rd appearance, like Brendan mentioned earlier. It's his 2nd start. And in those first 2 outings, he wasn't given any run support. I think the Hyannis offense is making up for it today. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. 6th strikeout of the night for Sam Thorson, punching out Jacob Hurtubise for the 2nd out of the top of the 5th.
And this is what we talked about. Thorson has been on cruise control with the exception of a couple of free passes scattered throughout his outing. But for the most part, he has been dominant. And the offense, like you just mentioned, Lyle, picking him up for sure.
So that flips the lineup over for Joey Weimer. Breaking ball from Thorson hits the zone for strike 1. So half a dozen strikeouts for Thorson today. He had 7 against Brewster back on June the 17th. Now the windup in the 0-1. Breaking ball, same spot, called strike right at the letters. Joey Weimer didn't love the call. He turned around to home plate umpire Jeff Merzel and said, "Wasn't that up?" Merzel just shook his head, and it's 0-2. Thorson, 1 strike away from a clean inning as he steps off the mound. He wants to reset for a second. Weimer with that counsel-esque stance above his head, and Thorson fires home. It's a fastball up high. 7-1 Hyannis here in the top of the 5th. Slight wind blowing out toward right center. Thorson gets the sign. He fires home. Swing and a miss in the dirt. McDaniel throws down to first. That completes the strikeout. And how about Sam Thorson? 5 innings of 1-run ball, 7 strikeouts, just 1 hit allowed. Hyannis up 6 runs going into the bottom of the 5th. And they'll be back on offense when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Five, six, seven due up for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Hunter Goodman, Mitch McIntyre, and Chad McDaniel set to come to the plate as Blake Espino's back on the mound for the Mariners, who trail 7-1 on the road at McKeon Park. Goodman, 0 for 1 today with a sac fly. Takes the first pitch inside up toward the letters. It's 1-0 to the Memphis product. He is responsible for one of the RBIs so far in this ballgame. Sac fly to center back in the 3rd, plated a run as he swings and rips one down the left field line just foul. Otherwise, Hunter grounded out to short. That was back in the bottom of the first to end the frame. But he contributed in that 3-run third inning, which was the most at any point in this game the Harbor Hawks have scored in one inning. That next offering hits the outside part of the plate. It's 1-2. So Goodman looking to re-jumpstart his summer a little bit here. Just 171 as we speak as he cuts through that breaking ball, strike 3. Goodman a little bit frustrated with himself, striding back to the dugout, but for Espinal, that's the first out of the bottom of the 5th. I'm going to bring up Mitch McIntyre as Espinal just recorded his second strikeout here today. McIntyre set to go with a lefty-lefty matchup. The infield straight up. The offering, swing and a foul, chop back behind him. Well, Mitch has certainly had himself a nice day. Single in the second, stole a base and scored. Also produced an RBI sacrifice bunt. The lengthy Espino sets and fires, fastball runs outside. But for Mitch, he picked up his 6th hit of the summer. And he's got 1 of the 8 so far for the Hyannis Ball Club today. 1-1 offering. Down in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike to the BYU product, Mitch McIntyre. In his 2019 season, his BYU squad, they went 36-17. They finished first in the conference, but failed to reach the tournament. As McIntyre pops one high on the infield and foul ground toward the left side. Incoming Cavadas, he calls off the catcher Winkle and makes the grab. So McIntyre pops out in foul ground for the second out of the bottom of the 5th. And that'll bring up the switch hitting catcher Chad McDaniel.
Well, McIntyre was trying to poke that one the other way. It was an inside pitch, trying to keep the hands inside and get the barrel of the bat to it, but well under it. And as a result, popped it up in foul ground. Easy play for Cavadas.
So now it's McDaniel. He's hit each time to the plate so far today from the right side. The lefty Espinal deals, and Chad McDaniel pops it foul on the right side, and it gets into the grass behind the McKeon Park confines. So 0-1, 2 down. The sun's starting to set here on the harbor as we're at 7:27 p.m. The first pitch, or the next one, it's down low, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. So McDaniel popped that first pitch just out of play, a little bit to the right of the Harwich dugout on the first base side. But Chad looking to pick up a base hit and extend the inning as Jackson Olsen awaits on deck. The pitch, swing and a high drive, fairly deep center field, backtracking Hurtubise. He's at the track, he's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch just a couple feet in front of the wall. So McDaniel gives it a ride, probably about 388 feet, but just not quite deep enough as a long out ends the bottom of the 5th. So Hyannis 3 up, 3 down in the frame, but they still lead 7-1 here at McKeon Park. We'll go to the 6th when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. As we're moments away from the start of the top of the sixth here at McKeon Park, Sam Thorison's day ends after quite an impressive outing. The right-hander goes 5 innings, giving up just 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 2, struck out 7, tying a high for the summer, dating back to his last start against the Brewster Whitecaps. And with that, Chad Gassman opts to go to the bullpen, and the right-hander Nolan Crisp for his second appearance of the summer. The righty also pitched against Brewster last Sunday in the doubleheader. He went 3 2/3, allowed 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks to 6 strikeouts. But on he comes against another Eastern Division foe, this time being the Harwich Mariners, and he's set to face the 2-3-4, Christian Fedko, Daniel Cabrera, and Nico Cavadas. Fedko strides his way to the box, takes a couple of swings on the grass just behind the right side of the batter's box. Nolan Crisp just finished up his freshman season at the University of Florida down in Gainesville. So the 5'9" righty kicks and deals. First pitch, fastball, and time is called by the home plate umpire, Jeff Merzel. So no official pitch there, and now pitching coach Ray Korn's going to call time to have a word with Merzel, the home plate umpire. So Crisp just standing up on top of the rubber. And Korn didn't look too thrilled about the time called, so now he's going to go and have a word as he flaunted both arms toward the home plate umpire. Still exchanging words just beyond the third baseline. And now finally, Korn's going to make his way out to the mound. For Crisp, he's a 3-pitch guy. Fastball sits in the low and can touch the mid-90s. Also mixes in a changeup and a slider. In his 2019 season for the Gators, went 39 in the third innings, 21 appearances, 6 of those were starts. 4-4 with an ERA just over 6, 21 walks to 21 strikeouts, and a .255 opponent average. So meeting adjourns. Korn makes his slow stride back to the dugout. And Crisp is back on the mound. Fedko into the box with a bit of a closed-off stance. So now we're set to start the sixth. The first offering, fastball down central, and it's 0-1. Oh, now it's 1-1. So now Jeff Merzel, the home plate umpire, signals it is 1-1. So Crisp ready with the third pitch of the inning. That's a fastball, clips the outside corner, a ball and 2 strikes. So the 5'9" righty gets himself ahead early against the hitter in Christian Fedko. He's had himself a nice summer up to this point. 8 for his first 20. That sits at a .400 batting average. The offering, breaking ball just misses outside. For Crisp, he led Florida among freshmen in starts made. He was 3rd among Florida freshmen in innings pitched. And now the 2-2. Swing and a ground ball foul on the left side. A snag made by the Harwich Mariners' third base coach. So I say he was 3rd among the Florida freshmen in innings pitched, but he was 3rd on the team in innings pitched. So this Florida roster consists of a lot of young arms that are up and coming. Crisp's 2-2. Fouled straight back by Christian Fedko, and the count stays just that way. And Crisp, one of those promising freshman arms himself. In fact, he was named as Regions Player of the Year in high school. It was back in 2018. He was named to the All-State first team as well. Now he kicks and deals. The 2-2 down low, and the count runs full. So 3-2. Fedko today, a pair of strikeouts, both of them swinging. Those came back against Sam Thorson in his 5 innings of work. Now Crisp ready. The 3-2, swing and a pop-up behind home plate. McDaniel giving chase, Mask staying on, and he puts it away in front of the screen for the first out. So a nice job by Chad McDaniel to track down that ball. He comes off the grass and onto the gravel that sits right in front of the bricks here at McKeon Park. And he didn't even take off the catcher's mask either. So he was able to track that baseball up in the sky and not even having a full line of vision as well. Regardless, that's 1 down, and it brings up Daniel Cabrera, the left-handed hitting right fielder. He takes 1 down, and it's 1-0. Cabrera hails from Louisiana State. So just finished up a season for the LSU Tigers. as he swings and pops one foul left side and it gets out of play. The Tigers won their regional this year. They took down Southern Miss to claim the title in Baton Rouge, but couldn't quite advance all the way to Omaha, getting taken down in their super regional. Pitch from Chris, misses outside, it's 2-1. Florida not as strong of a year. A perennial SEC powerhouse, but a bit of a tough season as a ground ball's dribbled out to second. Servideo fields cleanly to his left, throws over to first in time. So Nolan Crisp gets 2 quick outs to begin the top of the 6th. A pop out for the number 2 hitter, Christian Fedko, and then an easy ground ball to second from the bat of Daniel Cabrera. So now it's Nico Cavadas, who had a long, towering home run back in the first game. Although today he's 0 for 2. Crisp, the windup in the first offering, fastball just in. 2 flyouts, both of them to center for Cavadas today. Bryce Teodosio all over the place out in center field. The wind in the 1-0. Fastball, that runs in again. Teodosio today has had 4 putouts in game 2. It's been busy out in center field. Now Crisp ready, the 2-0, a swing and a miss. Cavadas chases one on the outer half of the plate. He swings right through it, and it's 2-1. So the sun continuing to set here at McKeon Park. Nolan Crisp has been pretty strong through 2/3 of an inning. As he deals the 2-1, it's a called strike at the letters. So Nico Cavadas spending his first summer on the Cape League. Last summer, he was out with the Kalamazoo Growlers in the Northwoods League. As the righty Crisp pauses in his windup, fires home, and it's fouled back just off the glove of the catcher, McDaniel. Comes off a season hitting .274 at Notre Dame. 25 extra base hits. 12 of those were long balls. So, as we've already seen today, he's got some power. The 2-2. Swing and a high fly ball, deep right center field. Back goes Teodosio. He's at the track, moving to his left. Leaps and makes the grab! Oh my goodness. Bryce Teodosio takes a home run away from Nico Cavadas, and that ends the top of the 6th. So how about Teodosio tracks it all the way in the gap in right center, sprinting out and to his left, leaps at the wall, and takes a long ball away. So a loud third out to end the top of the 6th, and that keeps the score at bay. 7-1 Hyannis through 5.5 innings, and we'll be back for the bottom of the 6th when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. 8-9-1 due up for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the sixth as they lead 7-1 over the Harwich Mariners here at McKeon Park. It'll be Jackson Olsen, Bryce Teodosio, and Anthony Servideo as Harwich calls to the bullpen and brings on the southpaw Jared Weatherby out of Elon. Set for his second appearance on Cape Cod as he fires and Olsen swings and pops it foul out of play. So a lefty-lefty matchup here to begin the bottom of the sixth. Weatherby threw one scoreless inning back against the Catuit Kettleers on June the 15th, so 8 days ago. Didn't walk anybody and had one strikeout. Now fires and deals the 0-1. Fastball on the outer edge, and it's 0-2. Olsen looking for his first hit today. He's popped up to short and struck out swinging. Harwich still with just one hit through 6 frames of offense. Hyannis, meanwhile, with 8 of their own. The 0-2 misses up high. So Weatherby just finished his season at Elon. So he's a 5'10", 200-pound lefty who takes a breath, working from the third base side of the rubber, and delivers the 1-2. Swing and a chopper up the middle. To his left, the shortstop, Thompson. He can't corral it. Olsen will beat it out at first, and the leadoff man's aboard for the Harbor Hawks. So Thompson ranged behind the bag at second. Kind of got caught between an in-between hop, trying to field it out in front, and couldn't quite bring it in. And as a result, Olsen will reach base. And this will bring up Bryce Teodosio, and it's safe to say this game 2 of the doubleheader has been his coming out party so far. He's got an RBI hit as he digs into the box with 1 aboard. First pitch from the lefty Weatherby is a swing and a miss. But Teodosio, seems like a game doesn't go by where we don't talk about the quality defense that he plays, and quality just went to unbelievable after what he did to end the top of the sixth. Weatherby giving Olsen a couple of looks at first. Now he'll fire home. It's a fastball upstairs. But Teodosio in the top of the sixth recorded the third out as Nico Cavadas absolutely launched a ball into right center. Looked like it was going to be his second home run of the day. But Teodosio, who pretty much covered a whole acre of ground out there, ranged into the gap, leaped at the wall, over the fence, and brought back a home run. As he spoils foul the next pitch, right side out of play. So he's been a bit of a ball magnet today. For Teodosio, 5 putouts in game 2, but none bigger than that robbed home run to end the top of the sixth. He wiggles the bat above his right shoulder. As Weatherby fires home, it's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Bryce goes down swinging for the first out. Weatherby records his first strikeout, his second of the summer. And now it brings up Anthony Servideo. But for Bryce, if you haven't heard it before, we'll say it again. Serves as Clemson's best defensive outfielder. And he's ranked as the number 23 ACC prospect for the 2020 MLB draft. That dates back to the 2019 preseason, as Weatherby misses high with a fastball to Servideo. There's good reason for it. There really is. His defense is so good. He's got a strong arm. He makes great reads on baseballs, as you just saw at the end of the top of the sixth. And now the 1-0. It's a fastball that clips the outside corner. It's 1-1. He's a vocal leader in the outfield, so his defense is all you can ask for. He has power. I mean, he was 5th on the Clemson roster in extra base hits. He was 3rd in home runs. As Weatherby checks Olsen at first. He's the runner being held on by Bobby Seymour. Now drops a breaking ball. It's too low. So 2-1 to Servideo. But getting back to Bryce Teodosio. He was also 3rd in the team in stolen bases. So he really does have the tools to be a 5-tool player. He's got the power. He's got the speed. He's got the defense. He's got the arm. He just has to put the batting average together a little bit. As Servideo cuts through the next offering, it's 2-2. 9 home runs in 2019 for Bryce. 33 RBIs. And we've seen the power in batting practice plenty of times. And he leaves the ballpark at will, sometimes from the right side of that box during BP. Servideo hacks and misses at a 2-2 fastball up out of the zone, and that's the second out of the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts for the left-hander Weatherby, and it'll shift things to Nick Lofton. So Lofton, who's already got a 2-run blast today. That was the 5th Harbor Hawk home run of the summer. Weatherby checks the runner, fires home. He misses downstairs with a fastball. But Bryce last summer played for the Waynesboro Generals of the Valley League after his freshman year at Clemson. He hit 275, which is a very, very respectable average. Lofton swings away and pops one straight up the elevator shaft. Coming in, the pitcher, Weatherby, calling everybody off, and he makes the grab, hugging the line. That'll be the final out of the bottom of the 6th. So a pretty clean inning of work for Weatherby after the leadoff man reached base being Jackson Olsen. Back-to-back strikeouts, and he catches that pop-up to end the bottom of the 6th frame. But we'll go to the 7th. Hyannis, 3 outs away from their first win of 2019. Stick around. We'll be back for the 7th on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Bobby Seymour, Michael Ludwig, Parker Winkle, the 3 due up for Harwich in the top of the 7th as Nolan Crisp, who just finished his freshman season at Florida, is back on the mound to try and finish it off. First pitch to the All-American Bobby Seymour misses down and out. It's 1-0. Seymour's reached twice today. Walked and advanced on a wild pitch back in the 2nd. The next offering is drilled down the right field line, moving over McIntyre, and that drops in front of him for a base hit, and that skips to the wall. Seymour on his horse. He's going to head for 2nd and stop right there. Leadoff double for the first-team All-American Bobby Seymour to begin the top of the 7th. There's a man on 2nd with nobody down.
Well, Seymour wasting no time. We know he has a big bat, and that time sending one down the right field line. McIntyre racing after it. Nice job to keep Seymour from advancing over to 3rd. That one was headed down into the bowels toward the foul pole.
So that brings up Michael Ludwig out of Wake Forest. Crisp out of the stretch, checks the runner, fires home. Fastball up at the letters for a borderline strike. So Seymour's been the most effective Mariner in this contest. He's the only guy to reach base 3 straight times. He walked, reached on an error at first, and just doubled a minute ago. Now the 0-1. Good breaking ball, but it just misses away. And a little bit low as well. So 1-1 the count. Ludwig's 1 for 2 today. He's responsible for the only other Mariner hit. He bunted his way aboard for a single against Sam Thorson. That was back in the 4th. The stretch and the 1-1 offering, swinging a ground ball to Carlson at first. He fields it cleanly coming toward the line, steps on the pillow, and there's 1 down. Seymour moves down to 3rd on the play, but Hyannis now 2 outs away from their first win. So now Patrick Winkel, the hitter. The UConn catcher who grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up. Flied out to center in the 2nd. is set to face Nolan Crisp for the first time. The righty winds and fires. Ground ball to Lofton at short. Takes a step to his left. Fields it on a hop. Throws across in time. Bobby Seymour scores from third on the play, but Hyannis will take that one all day long. A ground out for Parker Winkel puts the second run of the evening on the board for the Mariners. But Hyannis 1 out away from victory number 1.
And like you said, they'll take that every single day of the week. That run basically meaningless on the scoreboard other than the RBI picked up for Winkle.
So now it's Cam Thompson. First pitch curveball in, and it's 1-0. Hyannis won the season series 4-0 against Harwich in 2018. The Mariners already picked up game 1 here, as the offering from Crisp is at the top of the zone, the count evens. In fact, Harwich didn't win a single game in 2018 against Hyannis, YD, or Chatham. They already picked up game 1. 1-1, swing and a miss. So Crisp just 1 strike away. Infield back. As Thompson steps out of the box, he pinwheels the bat around the zone once. Now he's back in. The 1-2 misses up high, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 7-2 the score here in the 7th. 2 Harwich hits, 9 for Hyannis. And Crisp just 1 strike away. He kicks, fires, 2-2. Just outside, and it's a full count. Crisp has been pretty effective today. Allowed just the 1 hit on the Seymour double. Gave up a run a second ago, but that doesn't matter. The 3-2. Swing and a line drive into center. In comes Teodosio. It drops in front of him. That's a base hit. Third Harwich hit of game 2, as it's a 2-out single for Cameron Thompson in the top of the 7th.
Well, we talked about how good Teodosio's defense has been so far today, and you thought when that ball was hit off the bat, he might have a chance to lay out and make a spectacular catch, which would have really just culminated and capped off this incredible win for Hyannis should they get it. Still up by 5 with 2 down, but we've seen crazier things happen.
So Crisp now focuses on the hitter Hurtubise. First pitch is a fastball on the outer edge for strike 1. So not a save situation for Nolan Crisp. However, he racked up a pretty good amount of them in his season at Florida. He ranked 10th in the SEC in saves. Checks the runner, now the next offering. Misses outside, and it's a ball and a strike. He led all SEC freshmen in saves. So he had the ability to start, he had the ability to close. But here, just looking to get one final out. A 5-run lead for Hyannis in the 7th. The offering. Strike 2 called on the inside corner. And once again, Nolan Crisp and the Harbor Hawks just 1 strike away. Infield back. No hold from Carlson on the runner at first. That's Thompson. Crisp looks over anyway. Now comes set right at the chest. The offering, swing and a miss, strike 3. There's the first win of the season for the Harbor Hawks. Crisp strikes out Hurtubise to end the ball game, and Hyannis is on the board with the victory. 7-2 the final here in game 2 of the double dip against the Harwich Mariners.
Well, there it is, Lyle. Took a while, but was well worth the wait now, and you can see the smiles cracked on the faces of the coaching staff and the players alike, and this one feels good. Coming in game 2 of a doubleheader, you drop the first one, the offense finally gets going, the bats were swinging it well as the evening went on, and the pitching staff, what more can you say about Sam Thorson? He was absolutely phenomenal.
He was phenomenal, wasn't he? Let's revisit his line one final time. 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, it was earned, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. So we've talked about it, what feels like time after time, Brendan, about Hyannis just needs to find some consistency in their pitching staff, not just the bullpen, but the starters as well. And they're really starting to find it. I mean, Tyler Madison, we can say enough good things about him. Sam Thorson's a guy who now through 2 starts is proving his worth with every pitch as he's put together 2 marvelous starts for this Hyannis ball club. And even a guy like Fredrickson, look, he didn't have the greatest start today, but we know what he has in him. It's about putting it all together for him. But for Hyannis as a whole, the bats started to come alive. They played clean defense, and now they're starting to find some stability in the starting pitching. So these are all positive signs moving forward.
Without question, and I think that we talked a bit earlier on in the week about putting it all together as a team. Fundamentally, defense, the bats getting going, the pitching staff, mainly the bullpen, which had struggled early on in the season to hold things together. But it's really been the starting pitching that's come to the forefront, aided by Sam Thorson today. Ben Abram earlier on in the week, as part of a loss, came out of the bullpen but pitched splendidly. And now really resulting in the first win for Hyannis today as Nolan Crisp rebounding from a tough outing in Brewster a week ago. But now it's starting to really all piece together for Hyannis, and maybe they'll get rolling. Maybe this was the spark they needed.
Well, it all starts with a win. There's no question about that. But let's preview tomorrow for just a second. They're set to travel to Spillane Field across the bridge, take on the Wareham Gatemen, who today lost one game of their doubleheader 1-0 to Orleans, and lost the second game 1-0 to Orleans. So we've talked about Hyannis's inabilities at times, at least through the first 9 games or so, to score runs. They found it today, but all of a sudden, maybe Wareham's struggling to score some runs a little bit. Hyannis on the uprise in terms of their offensive production. They've got a little bit of momentum. So what's it going to take for them to go into Spillane tomorrow and get a win?
Well, I mean, the key term we've talked about is consistency, and I think that goes without saying, and that could be a bit obvious. But for a Hyannis ball club that struggled early on in the season and was winless through 9 games of play, that's really all it takes. And putting bats on baseballs and hitting them hard, and, pitchers have generated some soft contact against the Harbor Hawk bats early in the season, but today they were squaring them up. We saw the home run from Nick Lofton, an absolute shot. Trevor Hobber squared the ball up nicely, and with Wareham on their heels a little bit after a couple losses today, they put up 5 here at McKeon Park the last time we saw them. So if the Hyannis pitching staff can just hold serve and the bats can continue their hot streak, they'll be fine.
So that game's set for a 6:45 p.m. start tomorrow out in Wareham. Hyannis, with that win, moves to 1-8-1 on the year. They've got 3 points on the board with that first win here in Game 10. The final line for each team, the losing Harwich Mariners, who moved to 6-6 on the season. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. They left 4 on base. For the winning Hyannis Harbor Hawks, 7 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. They leave 4 on base. Sam Thorson picks up the win tonight. Isn't it fitting? The right-hander goes 5 innings of 1 hit, 1 run ball to anchor this Hyannis ball club to a 7-2 win. Evan Shaver takes the loss for the Mariners, and obviously no save in that situation. So Hyannis picks up win number 1. They win Game 2 7-2 after Harwich won Game 1 7-2. And for one final time, that'll do it for us today after Game 2 of this doubleheader. One more time, for Brendan Howe, I'm Lyle Goldstein. We thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon, and we'll talk to you tomorrow from Spillane Field in Wareham.